Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I will be recapping the three games that happened today. We had the Chargers versus Patriots, which just ended about 10 minutes ago. We had the 49ers beating the Philadelphia Eagles 23-19. And in the morning game, we had Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills climbing back and winning against the Jaguars 27-24. I'm going to start off with the first game here with the Chargers versus Patriots. This game was basically fucking these bitches having a mid-off. This wasn't the most exciting game, especially because you could see from the score, it was only 16-3. Wasn't an exciting game. There was no touchdown to the fourth quarter. None of these quarterbacks really played exceptionally well. We'll get to Justin Herbert and the fact that he got mauled by the Patriots D-line, which isn't even really that great. They're not really a great D-line. We'll get to that. But first, I want to talk about the winning team. Drake May, first playoff game of his career. He went 17 of 29 for 268 yards, a passing touchdown, and an interception. For the most part, I thought that he wasn't playing that great. It wasn't a great performance by really any of these teams, but Drake May he worked into the game. In the second half, he was a much better quarterback than he was in the first half. I think there was a stat somewhere like around the 6-minute mark in the fourth quarter where he was 11 of 14 for around 190 passing yards and a touchdown. So he figured out his shit in the second half and was able to help this team do enough to win this game. As you can see from the fact that they only allowed 3 points, they didn't have to do a lot offensively to win the game. And that's just mainly because the fact that this defense from the Patriots almost killed a man. I can't explain to you how many times I would be talking to my uncles about just random shit, and I look at the TV, and fucking Justin Herbert's on the ground again. I felt so bad for him. I mean, constantly pressured, constantly hit, and it wasn't like he was just getting lightly hit. No, I'd look at the replay, and he's getting fucking belt down. It hurt. I'm surprised he was able to fucking walk off the field after some of these hits. Because a lot of quarterbacks wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, he was literally scraped off the fucking field and then being told to fucking go back on offense 4 minutes later. Because the Chargers defense was able to do a lot. They were able to do pretty good against the Patriots. You see from the score, only 16 points allowed by the Chargers. But this offense couldn't do anything because, well, we knew this. I knew it. The Chargers have possibly the worst O-line in all of football. I mean, I remember there was a stat on Sunday Night Football a few weeks ago where, like, the left tackle was, like, 31st to 35. Like Pro Football Focus, which isn't obviously the greatest thing, but yeah, I think it told the tale of this game of what that meant. The right tackle was like 33rd or 34th. The center was 32nd of 36th. The left guard was like 35 or 36th, and then the left guard was like 37th or 37th. They are all dog shit. And at least if you had fucking Joe Wall, at least fucking one of your starting tackles, you would have at least been able to do something better. But they had nothing, and Justin Herbert, literally, he got pressured basically every single time I saw him. I started feeling bad for him. He just got his ass kicked for 60 minutes. And now the whole topic, and even I did this, was like, the topic of this game now is like, Justin Herbert, he can't win the playoffs. Which is currently true. He is 0-3 in the playoffs. So it's not very good. He's 0-3 in the playoffs. He's been really bad in the playoffs. But he has no O-line the last 2 seasons in the playoffs. It's been like really bad. I just got word from the NFL app of who's going to be scheduling tomorrow or the next week. Sorry about that. I want to get to that before the other 2 games. January 17th at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time is going to be the Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos. Oh, what the fuck? No. At 1:30 p.m. where I'm at, 4:30 p.m. over there. Now what the fuck? This is bullshit. Never mind. This notification meant fucking jack shit. Fuck the NFL app sometimes, dude. They just said some gibberish to me about who's gonna play, but then didn't say what the fuck the time is. That is fuck sakes, dude. But going back to this, the Chargers, I mean, they couldn't keep Justin Herbert alive. He's gonna go home and need the most insane ice bath and massage anyone may ever need in the history of football. He got his ass kicked for 60 minutes. And even in saying that, he was still trying. He was still like moving the ball sometimes. But then when push came to shove, it was only him being pushed and shoved. Like, it was just anticlimactic just because the one flaw of this team was the O-line. But you just thought the Patriots to have no D-line. We can still win this game. And the Patriots D-line, which is not great, looked like the 85 Bears out there against this fucking Chargers O-line. Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. But if, let's just say you brought a fan that's new and they watched this game, you would think that he wasn't a good quarterback. I understand I'm being very much if man, where it's like if Justin Herbert had a good O-line, he would be phenomenal. I understand that. But to some extent, it's true. If he had at least fucking some part of a competent O-line, they'd at least score 6 points. They'd at least get 2 field goals. But yeah, Chargers, great season. Really, I feel bad for your injuries, but hopefully next year you're better. And for the New England Patriots, you're going to be hosting a home game again, and it's going to be against either the Texans or the Steelers. We'll find that out tomorrow. All right, we're going to go to the next game. It's a game that my uncles are very much mad at me for who I picked. Fuck. We're going to go to the San Francisco 49ers beating the Philadelphia Eagles 23-19. I know I'm going to get comments by my uncles being like, you were fucking wrong. And they can do that because they are absolutely right. I was wrong about this game. The one thing I was kind of right, I'm going to talk about what I was right and then what I was wrong, and the full game at that. I was right by saying the Niners, if they reach 20 to 24 points, they will win this game. They got to 23, and they were able to win this game. What I was wrong at, though, was that I said that it would be harder for the Niners to stop Philadelphia's run game just because I felt that Saquon Barkley, even though he wasn't having that great of a season compared to last year where he got 2,000 rushing yards, I felt like he was going to be able to just do enough to help the Philadelphia Eagles win the game. And I just thought the Niners defense wasn't going to be as good as it was today. But as you see from the fact that they only allowed 19 points, they were exceptional. I will say it is easy to do that against the Eagles just because your quarterback is Jalen Hurts. And I was a big believer of Jalen Hurts back in 2022 with Shane Steichen when he had like 22 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He is no longer a good quarterback. He can't read defenses. He constantly only looks at one read. And if that one read is done, the play will be like, all right, we're going to have A.J. Brown go ball. If A.J. Brown isn't wide the fuck open, he's going to roll to his right and then throw it out of bounds. I can't tell you how many times that happened today. It was insane. Like, he can't read defenses. The last play of the game was so horrendous by Jalen Hurts. It's, first of all, quarters. What do you not run on quarters? Verticals. 4 vert. They run 4 vert. And the guy that he decides to throw it to, Dallas Goedert, who, fair enough, was your best receiver this game, is triple teamed. He is triple teamed. Jalen Hurts should throw it to literally anyone but Dallas Goedert. And he throws it into triple coverage and says, Dallas Goedert has to catch this. I don't think Dallas Goedert got a fucking fingertip on the ball because Eric Hendricks just said, no, you're throwing it right at me. I'm just going to swat it away and the game is going to be done. And that's exactly what happened. And even the play before, you call a timeout because you guys can't get set. At that point, I would rather have it be 4th and 16 than 4th and 11. Just because, let's just say this, they don't get the first down, cool. You have 3 timeouts. The Niners still have to run actual plays. Because if you're able to stop them, you get the ball back with like 20 seconds left. I get it, no timeouts, but you get the ball back. You call a timeout, don't get it on 4th and 11, and the Niners are able to kneel the ball down and just end the game. The 49ers played phenomenal. They played phenomenal. I was really wrong about this take when it comes down to the fact that I didn't think that they would be able to really do enough to win the game. And they were able to. I mean, Brock Purdy threw 2 interceptions, but he had 2 touchdowns. And the last drive of the game, he was able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles defense, which is something that I personally thought was not going to be the case. The trick play with Jawan Jennings to CMC was the play of the game, not just because it was really cool to see, but it just brought a sense of confidence to the 49ers that I feel like they needed, especially because in the third quarter, they didn't really do much. They weren't able to do a whole lot in that third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, they were able to do a lot. And a huge part of that was because of that play. They got momentum back, and then they were able to score, I think, the next drive, I believe. I may be wrong. Let me know in the comments. It's just going to be my uncles in the comments. But, yeah, the run game still wasn't there from the 49ers. But that was something that I feel like it kind of hasn't been there this season. It wasn't there most of the season. The Philadelphia Eagles were really good at stopping that. But what I can say is the Niners were also really good at stopping Saquon Barkley late in the game. Obviously, in the first few drives, Saquon, maybe even just the first drive when they scored a lone touchdown, or never mind, the first touchdown, they had 2. Saquon Barkley was amazing in that drive. Tank Bigsby was getting a few rushes, and he was doing really good. But then after that, they couldn't really run the ball well, and that's because the 49ers defense, pursue and tackle, was some of the best that I've seen from them this season, which is really impressive, which is what you want, especially from a team like a defense like the 49ers that is kind of young. They're still learning on the fly. It took a lot of weeks, but they're starting to get it now. They're going to need it next week as well against Seattle. You just saw them get beat up by them a few weeks ago. And even in saying they got beat up, it was only 13-3. So they played the best 2 weeks of defense they have all season. They're going to need it next week. But keeping back into this game, they just played the brand of football that the Philadelphia Eagles usually win in, but they won it instead, which is very impressive, especially because lower scoring game than what the 49ers would want. But in saying that, at least you were able to now you can say now that we can win a low-scoring football game, which is something that for most of the season you weren't able to say. You had to score a lot of points, and if you didn't, you're going to lose. The last 2 weeks, although you are 1-1 in those games, you are still able to slow down the opposing team's offense, which gives your team a chance because the 49ers, it may not happen. It may not happen now. It may not happen the next drive or the next drive. But if they get any swing of momentum in a game, they are usually going to get that momentum and keep it, at least for that quarter, maybe for the half. And they were able to find that in the fourth quarter, which won them the game. I mean, they went in the fourth quarter, they scored 13 and only allowed a 3, which was basically the huge game changer because it was 16-10 going into the fourth. And it just felt like the Niners were playing the brand of football that the Eagles would want them to play. And they were able to change that with special play with the trick play with Jennings and CMC. And overall, they just played better than them in the second half. This has been a season where the Philadelphia Eagles are a first half team. They did that. They did that against the Bills a few weeks ago when they were up, I think, 13-0. And then Jalen Hurts had no completions, I think. And Jalen Hurts once again played a good first half, and then in the second half was just abysmal. He looked like Jalen Hurts when he got benched in favor of Tua back in the championship game. I think in like 17 back in college. That's how he looked. He looked like he was dumbfounded. He looked really bad. I think this is who Jalen Hurts is, though. This is who the Eagles' offense was. We knew that the defense was going to be able to play 4 full quarters of a game, and they were able to do that for the most part. It was just the fact that the Eagles this whole season, in my eyes, were like, they aren't playing great now, but I think they're going to figure their offense out just enough to where they're kind of like the Seahawks and the Texans, where it's like your defense is the reason why you're good, but your offense is going to be doing enough for you to win games. And they just weren't able to do that all season, really at all. And the 49ers proved that. Because, well, you're able to stop an Eagles team that looked like they were doing something in the first half, and then you stop them, you learn what they're doing. It's a very simple offense the Eagles do. It's basically just like, all right, we're going to do a handoff, inside zone, outside zone, pitch toss once in a while, counter play once in a while. And then for the pass game, it is, all right, we're going to do a go ball, which is the deep route. We're going to do a curl, and then we're going to do an out route. That's really, and then you get the once in a while Dallas Goedert post route down the middle of the field, but that's all it is. So once the Niners figured that out, it was really easy for them to just say, hey, they're calling the same plays every time. Let's just beat it. And they were able to beat it. So this is a great win from the 49ers. Probably this is the best 2-week stretch of their defense by far. It's not even really close. And they have another hard matchup in the Seahawks next week. On Saturday, now that I know from fucking shitty ass NFL app. Hopefully they're able to keep the defense the way it has been the last 2 weeks. But we'll see from that. Alright, we're going to go to the morning game where Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills were able to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. This was a game where it was actually a very competitive, good, close game. At the end of the first half, Cam Little misses the kick from about 50, I believe. It's like 54 yards. Excuse me. Which would have made it, 10-10, which, looking back at it, it's a tie game now if he just makes that. I'm not going to put it all on the kicker just because, well, if the game... If the whole point, if the decision of the game is based on a kick, you shouldn't. There's clearly other problems within that game that happened, and there was. You had 2 turnovers, one to end the game, and then even the other one that happened. I don't think that amounted to points from the Bills, but you gave up the interception, and Trevor Lawrence. I know he threw 2 interceptions, but for the most part was serviceable. I'm not going to say he was great. He was serviceable this game. He just happened to play Josh Allen when Josh Allen did Josh Allen things. James Cook kind of knew going into this game that he wasn't going to be a force to be reckoned with just because Jacksonville has the number 1 rush defense and has not allowed a rusher to have 75 yards in the game, and they were able to stop James Cook. But with that being said, they were not able to stop Josh Allen, which was basically it was the 2 main components of how the Jaguars win. You stop James Cook, and then you limit. You can't really stop Josh Allen, but you limit Josh Allen, and they weren't able to do that. And then Trevor Lawrence, just costly turnovers, and the run game from the Jags was there for a moment. They didn't keep with it though. I feel like they were doing very well with it in the first half, but they just kind of, I don't want to say they stopped using it, but it stopped being very efficient the way it was prior to the, like, in the first half. But overall, I mean, great season from the Jacksonville Jaguars. It does suck that you're this is just your season. Um, I mean, Liam Cohen was phenomenal this year. He got some great talk from an NFL reporter, and overall, I think he did phenomenal this season. Josh Allen and the Bills, they stay alive. They're going to be going to Denver now. It's gonna be a great game. Yeah, this game was basically just Josh Allen is gonna do more than Trevor Lawrence was going to, and we all knew that. It was just how much more, and you saw today that it was just enough, just enough. You know, it wasn't an exceptional game from Josh Allen, but he found a way. Is the best way I can explain it. He did just enough for this team to be like, all right, you know what? I did enough for my team. We're gonna win this game now. And that's exactly what happened. But yeah, 3 great games. Well, 2 great games, and then you had the Chargers versus the Patriots, a game that was very boring. Not much really happened, but it was also a game where you figured out, okay, the Patriots are a good team. Maybe not as great as we thought they were offensively, but the Chargers' offensive line truly is just what we thought, which was they're not good, and they're gonna get bounced out early because of it. So yeah, that's all for the video today. Kind of a short video. We have 3 games. I would think that there'd be more, but yeah, it's kind of the story of the game. Maybe I can add a little bit more to the Niners game, but I don't know. I feel like I said most of it already. Great win. But yeah, it is cool though. It is cool knowing that there's one more week. I was nervous this whole week. I picked the Eagles. Family is not happy about me for doing that, but I picked the team based on who I believed was gonna have the better matchup, and the Eagles were the team that I felt was gonna have the better matchup. The Niners proved me wrong today. Hopefully they can prove me wrong next week with a win, but we'll just have to see about that. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow to review the Texans at Steelers. Peace.